Hello, and firstly a big thanks for watching this video on the RIO study. So, let's get started. What is the RIO study all about? The RIO study stands for Recognition of Intracranial Hypertension in Children using Handheld Optical Coherence Tomography. Were you able to pick out the RIO? It's a long title, isn't it? And sounds very fancy. But what does it all mean?
I'll explain. Intracranial hypertension is where the pressure in the skull becomes too high. This can damage the brain and vision, so it is very important that doctors can spot it and treat it as soon as possible. It's not easy to check the pressure in the skull in children. At the moment, the best way to do this means having an operation to put a pressure monitor in the brain. This means that children need to come into hospital for 2 nights and there are risks involved.
The optic nerve connects the eye to the brain. Raised pressure in the skull travels down the optic nerve and causes it to swell. Handheld optical coherence tomography, or OCT, is a safe and child-friendly way to examine the back of the eye, including the optic nerve. Handheld OCT can produce 3D images of the optic nerve in amazing detail, within seconds and without using eye drops. Isn't that cool?
So, the RIO study is using the power of handheld OCT to spot children who may have raised pressure in the skull, or as doctors will call, at-risk children. The RIO study is led by Dr. Sohaib Rufai, an eye doctor funded by the National Institute for Health Research, the NIHR.
Many of the children in the RIO study are those with craniosynostosis. You might be asking yourself, what is this? Craniosynostosis is where the bones of the skull fuse too early. This can cause raised pressure. The RIO study team have already shown that handheld OCT works well in children with craniosynostosis. Other children in this study have other conditions causing raised pressure in the skull.
The main aim of the RIO study is to help doctors recognise raised pressure in the skull so that the children can receive the right medical and surgical treatment to protect their brain and vision. We hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.